We had insane sex in the wardrobe.
Great sex, Harvey. If you're listening to this and you're older. Most of my clients that come to me give me all their symptoms, but then I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about why the fuck you feel like this. They've got anxiety, they've had death, they've had trauma, they've had grief, they've got shit unprocessed, they haven't talked about things, they've got the actual DV going on or relationship issues, or kids are driving them crazy, they haven't had a holiday in fucking 5 years, you know? I'm like, okay, let's look at all this. So, and then implement the tools, right?
I'm going to end my life or I fucking breathwork, you know?
I remember asking you, we brought a 100K Mercedes, right? And we drove out and I said, are you happy? All right, Kirsty, so you got out of this DV relationship. Your son's 6 months old. What happens next?
All right, so I got out of there and I knew no one. There was no social media. I had none of my friends' phone numbers or anything like that. He had completely isolated me from absolutely everyone. So I was at home living with my parents with my 6-month-old, and I was like, all right, cool, I need to do something. So I started going to the gym. Now, I never went to the gym to look good or anything like that. I went to the gym because I needed to get physically fit so no guy could ever fuck with me again. And that's the start of my journey into fitness. I started there. I started then seeing a bodybuilder. Then I got into the bodybuilding lifestyle, started lifting more and more heavier weights. And I was with that guy for a couple of years, which was awesome. He taught me so much things. You know, he taught me so much love and passion for the fitness industry. And that was a moment when I really started to make sure that no guy could ever take anything away from me again. So I started working harder, was getting into businesses and things like that as well. So I had my money sorted. I was physically fit and strong. And I started really diving into self-development. So I started doing every single self-development book that came out, courses that came out. Like, I needed to be resilient. I needed to be I needed to have a strong mindset, you know, and I've taken this everywhere in my life now because of that. So fast forward a few years from there, you know, I'm around 21 now. You know, I had a couple more toxic relationships in between there because, like, I'm a slow learner. I got to really sort of learn what I really don't like, you know. I'm very, very fast at that shit now. Like, if I don't like something, I'm like, yeah, cool, gone. But, you know, it took me a while to get to that. You know, but that's the steps, right? You can't slow down the journey of your life. You've got to go through the steps to get to where you are now. And this is why I'm so successful. It's why I'm so confident now, because I don't get caught up in the fucking pebbles along the way, you know? So, I went through a couple more toxic relationships, and then I had Noah. And when I was pregnant with Noah, I was like, holy shit, what am I going to do? I've just come from New Zealand, moved to Perth only like a few months prior to that.
With Noah's dad. Yeah. And we had split up. You know, that's a whole nother podcast. Yeah. And everything's a whole nother podcast.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? I'm living in Australia in Perth and I can't get a benefit. So how am I going to be able to raise this child? So I started going and asked myself some questions. And at that time, you know, for many years, probably about 3 or 4 years, I'd done Tony Robbins. So I went back to doing Tony Robbins CDs. Back then it was CDs. Wow. Yeah, and it was like a 21-day or 30-day program that my dad had given me. And I started listening to the CDs again. I'd go to sleep to these CDs from Tony Robbins. And I asked myself, like, what would I love to do that would get me up at 3 o'clock in the morning? And I suppose, you know, subconsciously now that I look back, you know, 3 a.m., I used to call it, you know, between 2 and 3 was golden hour, you know, that magic hour. And it's crazy because until I just said that then, it was probably a really pivotal moment. So this subconsciously, this has been working in the background for many, many years. And so I was like, what would get me up at 3 o'clock in the morning? And I thought, you know what, I would like to be a personal trainer. And it was crazy because
help other women get strong and
help other women. Yeah.
I think like your sole purpose is like motivating not just women, but that's obviously like a passion for yours. But just everything you do, like we were listening to that video the other day, and yeah, so it's really cool to see that you had something back then, and as we go through your story towards what you're doing now, even the way you came in to the breath work, the way you're going to explain that. But really here, it inspires me because when I did that birthday video for you while you're working away, everyone was like, the way you make me feel, the way you show up. And I said to you, this is why you're such a good coach. This is why when people join our program, they get changed. This is why people are so drawn and attracted to you, because you generally give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like if someone was your PT back then, not even now, I reckon their life changed.
100%.
Not just physically, right?
That's exactly right. And the feedback actually is that 90% of the time when they came to me, they said, it's actually got nothing to do with the coaching. It's got everything to do with how she makes me feel.
And the how you make people feel.
Yeah, and it was like therapy for them.
Exactly.
They're like, this is a therapy session. I'm just getting fit as the bonus, like the therapy session.
Well, it wasn't
Kirsty.
about the getting the fit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that most of the time people join our program, so they just want to be around you because of the way you make them feel. Like I'm like the hard ass, like breathe and do this and stop being
because I just want everyone to feel good. Emotionally pain free is my mission in life, and if you've come this far and listened to my story, you'll know why now, because of my past,
exactly right.
And so I started to become a personal trainer, and it's crazy because when I was going through that, I was pregnant with Noah. I had a 5-year-old. I was working full time and I was studying part time at the Australian Institute of Fitness in the city, and I was having to get buses and trains. I'd get off the bus and train, I'd vomit, I had the worst morning sickness of my life. And and then I'd go to school 3 times a week part time after work. And it's crazy because I look back now, like that was a hard fucking time in my life. I paid for my course. I had $50 left out of my money each week to spend on myself and groceries.
I got a newfound respect for single women too, doing the work that we do, because the old me would be like, single mums and blah, blah, and all the memes and shit. And, I look at it now, like when I've got Harvey by myself and,
it's hard.
And he's not even sick, it's hard work. And you worked away FIFO on the oil rigs at the start of a relationship, and that was hard. And now, I look at these mums with like 3 kids, she's not working, they're all sick and they're all different ages that need all different parts of her. And I'm like, newfound respect for you.
I know. And it's crazy, but you know what? Like back then, it was just my normal, right? It was my norm. So I never thought of it.
Hard. It wasn't hard.
It was just what you did.
But that was your resilience, right?
Yeah. And I honestly when I hear, when mums are talking about like how hard it is, I personally can't resonate with that because I didn't find it hard. In fact, having the men in my life was the hard.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Having them actually in my life was the hard. Having them out of my life and just having my kids was the easy. And I loved it. So yes, there was a lot of challenges in my life. There was a lot of obstacles, but I didn't find it hard. So I'm there doing PT. I had Noah. And easy birth, literally planned him. I said, he's going to be this weekend, scheduled him. This all came naturally.
Can we reverse? I want to hear the story. You used to catch the bus to work with a 5-year-old and pregnant with Noah, until you had to get off the bus.
Yeah, I had to get off the bus quickly to vomit into the bin because, and then I had to walk to drop him off to school, and then I would walk up to my job. So I lived in the city with my parents, but my job was in Osborne Park, which was, a good, 30, 45 minutes away from, on a train and bus and things like that. So train, bus and walking.
And we're in Perth now, right?
Yeah, in Perth. And it's just crazy because I look back now, I'm like, fuck yeah, shit was hard then. Like no wonder I'm okay now, because when shit happens, like my resilience has been building since the day I was fucking born pretty much,
right.
So
that's why like I've not.
You crumble over little shit and I'm just like, what the fuck are you crying over?
That's why people come to me with all this trauma and I'm like, man, you should start a business. Your resilience and resistance towards fucking normal day stress is like, you'll kill it.
Well, 100%. So let me just tell you this. So I gave birth to Noah, and at that time I got qualified. You got PT, and I qualified when Noah was 8.5 months pregnant. I was 8.5 months pregnant with Noah. So I'm qualified now. Qualified PT.
And you're versing all these
I'm versing all these
fit people and 8 months pregnant.
And they're also there going, we're running this hill and they're like, you better fucking beat Kirsty because she's fucking pregnant. And I'll be making sure that no one's beating me.
Well, you're so competitive.
I'm so competitive. Like, bitch, you ain't going to fuck with me. Like, I'm going to win.
I know when we do family game night and everyone's like, Kirsty's pushing kids and shit out.
Yeah, I was like, Mom, Harvey's 2, like calm down. Like, you know, and I'm like, he needs to know now that you can't just be the winner if he's not going to actually win. Like, you know,
no one gets it easy.
No one gets a fair play with me. Like, you don't get the participation award. We don't do that shit over here. So, so then I got out of hospital and I messaged a couple of my clients and said, okay, cool, like I'm good to go back to PT. And I just had this baby on the Saturday and I was PTing people on the Tuesday.
Wow.
And they were like, you're fucking insane.
When you gave birth to Harvey, you cooked dinner that night for my whole family. I cooked dinner that night for my whole family, yeah. I'm just like, get the fuck on with it. For our whole family. Yeah, for our family. And my parents as well. Yeah. And my mum and dad are like, you need to lay down.
They're like, wait, you like, are you all right? Like, what are you doing? Like, you just gave birth. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, we're good to go. Like, I want to go back to business.
Doing dishes and shit. Yeah. Like, fucking just popped out a baby 3 hours ago. 100%.
And then I started a business. So that's a whole nother fucking thing. But so I did that and I was training these clients, and then that was the start of everything. So then my ex was playing up a little bit, just he's causing me some grief, and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to leave. I'm going to move to Kalgoorlie. And you know him. I sent an ad to be a personal trainer in a gym. And
a lot of money in Kalgoorlie for people that don't know.
And I never worked in a gym before. And it's funny because the lady that asked me, you know, did you want to be a contractor for us or did you want to work for the gym? And they'd never had contractors. And I said, I'll be a contractor. So I'll just pay her rent, right? Which is like $250, I think it was, or $100. I can't even remember, a week or whatever. And they'd never had this. And I was like, what? Why? You became a personal trainer. You don't be a personal trainer to go work for the gym where you're going to get paid like $19, $20 an hour or something like that. Owning
your own business than renting a space.
100%. Like, you know, like this is ludicrous. Yeah. So I started there and I just killed it.
Because you saw the bigger picture where these guys look at it like they're going to give you
and
work,
then I tried to convince,
find your own work.
Then I try to convince everyone, do not work for the gym, work for yourself. You can make all that money and keep it yourself. Like, stop playing the safe game. Like, I've never played the safe game. And it kind of how I became so big in Kalgoorlie is because I was quite cocky and confident, and I'd have been in the bodybuilding scene for a long time back in New Zealand, you know, and I'd been out for a few years. I hadn't been into it in Australia, but I also knew how it worked. And so I went up to the biggest guy in Kalgoorlie and I said, hey, you got a great body. You could probably do something with that, but you got shit calves. and then he was like...
Say that again. You went up to the biggest guy in the gym.
I went up to the biggest guy in the gym.
Big by muscly.
Big, like he's big... He's got beautiful tan skin. He's confident. He thinks he's self-assured. And I went out to him and I said, bro, like, you got a great body. You could do something good with that, but you got shit calves. And I just walked past him.
You got shit calves.
And he looked at me and was like, who the fuck is this bitch? And I'm like, but if you want to know how to train them, let's talk. And he was just like, nah, fucking whatever. I'm not going to have some fucking girl chain me, blah, blah. And so this went on for weeks. We was like those cock teas in the fucking gym, right? And I'd go up to him and be like, oh, you could do something with your life, but you got those calves to deal with, you know? So, and he'd be like, fuck you. And then one day he went, fuck it. All right, I'll do a session with you. But if I don't hurt the next day, I'm not going to hire you. I said, okay. So I went fucking hard with these calves, and I just trained calves.
But you're all about technique too. I did legs with you one day and I couldn't walk for several. I was in a wheelchair, man. Remember when I came down the stairs?
Wait, I love it. Like it is.
But we didn't do much. It was just that you were getting the right.
I fired the muscles.
Angles and firing the right muscles. Where like when people are working out, you know,
there's a lot of ego in the gym. Like you're always trying to smash weights and you got fucking this like bending shit going on.
Yeah, well, you see people doing back and they've got the whole rack, but they're like swinging their whole body.
Like, let me show you how to do that properly, and then you're gonna halve that.
Less weight.
Yeah.
Right technique and form.
You know.
Plus you get hurt too, right? If you're doing shit wrong in the gym.
100%. So anyway, I started training him, and I just want to put this in perspective that this guy actually was a scaffolder, and so
Kiwi.
Yeah, Kiwi.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, big Kiwi.
Duh.
And anyway, so did a session, and like he was like, fuck, like this was hectic. Like he's sweating, he's fucking in pain. Anyway, 2 days later, his boss comes in and he goes, what the fuck did you do to him? He cannot get up the scaffold. I said, well, if he wasn't such an asshole to me, I may have gone a little bit lighter to him, but I had to show him real pain. And that was the beginning. That was when my name started going around like, holy shit, like this girl knows what she's doing. And I started to get a really good name for myself in Kalgoorlie. And I put myself in the right circles. And then eventually, you know, some shit went down in the gym that I was in. And so I started doing boot camps. And I remember the first boot camp that I ever did by myself.
Used to take your your son's
yeah, my son, Noah used to come down with his little wee green Adidas suit on and do little lunges. So cool. He used to call them lunges and stuff like that. And and it was really awesome. And so we started doing these like boot camps. And my first one that I put on, it was $650 to join my boot camp for 12 weeks. And it was 3 boot camps.
Cool business model.
Yeah, 3 sessions a week. And I made these booklets up that I hand binded myself. It was really, really crazy. It was like such a moment. I had some of my friends, we got t-shirts, we got iron-on like logos and stuff like that you got from Kmart, and you put the logo on, you printed it off on there, and you got your iron and ironed it onto these black t-shirts that we got from Kmart, and we did this like welcome thing. We made it real fucking professional, and it was awesome. And then I started getting on for that. So I started doing these more and more boot camps. I think the first one we had about 30, and then we went up to like 70, and it just took off. And then I remember the third time I did it, I made like $75,000 and working for myself. And I literally I hope the tax man's not listening, but a black rubbish bag full of cash. And I wasn't a drug dealer. I was a PG person. And then I got even more cunning. So I was like, okay, cool. How can I upsell to these guys? So I had a friend in Perth that had a supplements shop, and so I started bringing in protein, and so I was cheaper by like getting protein off me, like the brands that they would get in Kalgoorlie, but I was like $250 through them, and I think I sold them for like $200, and I was getting them maybe $110. So like I was getting all the cream, and everyone was buying them off me because like why would they not? Like they're doing the PT with me. I say you need this protein powder for your drink, cheaper. Blah blah. It's $50 cheaper. Go through here. So I started doing that. Then I started buying protein bars online.
You're not supposed to be liked in business though, are you?
No, 100%. Like,
that's the problem out there. People care about their feelings, and it's like if you're smart in business, you're gonna be cutthroat, and you're gonna piss people off. I think
my thing was the thing is that I never thought of it like that. I just wanted the best for my people. I wanted to get the results exactly right. fast.
It's not that you're trying to make other people fail. You're just trying to do you better.
I was just trying to give the best possible services to my people. Always has been like, I'm a solutions focused person. Always have been.
You're never about the money.
No, and I just
that's the thing.
It just happened to be that was the cream of it,
I believe you always do so well in business because you actually give so much value to whatever you're doing, whether it's PTing, like you get what everyone needs. That's why you're so good at service-based. Yeah. You get what everyone needs, and then you put that together, and then you sell it to someone, and it's irresistible.
100%. Because you know what? I'm going to give you rapid results fast. Whatever I've done in life.
You know what people need.
I know what people need.
It may not be what they want, but it's what they need.
Well, and I know what people need. I know what, I know how to get that, and everything I always do is solutions based, and I'm going to rapidify that. If that was a word, that's a word now, rapidify. And
we're going to be adding a lot of words to the dictionary with you.
So that's sort of like, what I did with Kalgoorlie and fitness. But that led me to my next thing. So after that, I was like, cool, what's next? Everything with me has always been what's next. All right. So then I got into the mines. And it's a personal trainer, and I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking incredible. It's an amazing job. And then I was, and this is a perfect example. Life's happening for you, not to you. So I got into the mines. I was promised to go to Barrow Island. Now Barrow Island I was super excited. I was going to be on, I think, $90,000. I was with all the people that I fucking knew. If you're a personal trainer on Barrow Island, like you were someone, that was the kind of the world that I was in. So I thought, I was like, yes, I'm going to get this. Then a new person jumped in and she was like, oh, no, you're not. You need to start at the bottom and work your way up. You're not getting Barrow Island. And I was like pissed off, and I was like, well, where are you sending me? And they took me to a Rio site at $75,000. And I'm like, well, this is fucking bullshit. I was like, when will I move up to Barrow Island? And she said, well, you need to prove yourself. Now, the crazy thing is, and this is a pivotal moment that life is happening for you. There was, every year we do a 12-week program, like a challenge with Eurest. Was it Eurest? No, Compass, where I used to work, right? Compass. Oh, yeah. And I was like, I'm going to win that. My person, whoever it is, I don't know who it is yet, is going to win that competition. And this is like thousands and thousands and thousands of people enter this competition, okay? So this is happening, and anyway, so I started training these people, started getting into it, and so long story short, of course I won because I'm a competitive bitch, and my guy won. This has now put me on the roadmap to the bosses, right? The bosses are like, who the fuck is this girl? What's going on? How did you do it? And I had a combination of mindset, nutrition, and training. And I used to train that guy all the fucking time. And we took it out, we won. Then they said, okay, cool. They said, what do you want? I said, I want to go to Barrow Island. And they said, well, there's no position in Barrow Island. I want the manager's role now. Like, I'm over this side thing. I've been there for 6 months. I wanted more. I want the manager's role at Barrow Island. Got interviewed and stuff like that, but they were like, they really wanted a man. Okay, so this is just a typical situation where the client wants a man. All right, but she said, look, I've got something else for you, and I don't know if it's going to come to head yet, but I would like to put you forward for it. We are going to promote our services on the oil rigs. Your job would be to go out there, fucking make everyone fall in love with you and want to buy the program, so they take on our service. And I was like, okay. She goes, the only problem is that I think you need a bigger site. And I said, well, how many people? And she goes, it's probably about 100. I wanted Barrow because it was like thousands.
Yeah.
You know? And I said, well, how much money? And she said, you'll be $110,000. No, $130,000 2 and 2. And I'm like,
Sign me up.
Yeah. Sign me up. I was like, what? That's insane. $75,000 to 130, 2 and 2. Let me just put this into perspective.
2 weeks home, 2 weeks away.
100%. Let's put this into perspective. If I had gone to Barrow, I never would have been seen. I never would have made it to oil and gas or the Ritz.
You wouldn't have.
And I went from what would have been 95, which I thought was the best option, to 135,000. And that was 2 and 1, and now this was 2 and 2. You know
you're
what?
working less, more
money, and all the things, and so much opportunity. And then
more opportunities.
Then my 10-year career started from there. So that's sort of how I got into oil and gas. Again, that'll be probably a whole nother podcast. But yeah,
we're going to keep saying that.
Yeah, we're going to keep saying that.
So you did that for
so I did that for on and off for 10 years. Well, actually not on and off. Nearly 10 years I was offshore. So and that was time away from my kids that I can never get back. And this is why I'm so passionate about now why I do what I do, because I don't have many regrets in life, and that is one of them.
We always speak on that too.
Do you want to attract more money into your life? Then this is for you. Are you ready to fuck off procrastination? Then this is for you. You need more sales in your business? This is for you. Do you want to feel more successful and confident? Then this is for you.
Hey, I'm Beau Drury.
Hey, I'm Kirsty Waddingham.
And welcome to Believe in Your Breath,
where we breathe success. If you want to work with us further, you'll want to join We Breathe Success. It is designed to take you from where you are now to where you want to be in 12 months or less.
If you're ready to 10x your life and step into the ultimate version of yourself that you know you can be, then this program's for you. Your transformation awaits.
Fast forward to that, then Beau came into my life.
Boom, here we go.
Yeah.
Dim the lights.
Dun, dun, dun. So Beau walked into my house broken and fucking all the things, and I'm like, hey, I like to fix humans. Like, come to me, let me fix you. That was always my fucking view on life. And he came into my life, and we started a relationship. We were friends for 7 years prior to that. And no one seen this coming.
Hung out a few times.
Like, no one ever seen this coming. Neither did we. We always
we still talk about it now.
For fucking probably 2 years, we're like, holy shit! Like, I can't believe that's where Drew like him.
Kirsty Waddingham.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is like so insane.
Now we're engaged.
Yeah. Fuck. We now got a kid. Like what? Like how?
Yeah. When did that happen?
How did this happen?
We live in Bali.
Yeah. You're like what? we tour the world. Like what the fuck is going on? Like we can't even catch up with our own selves. It's okay.
Yeah.
So I knew to be with Beau that he would want to have his own child.
With me, you mean?
Yeah, with him. He wanted to have his own child. The child wanted to have a child, He was my fucking toddler child. This is what I used to call him. So
me?
Yes, you're my toddler child. So yes, Beau wanted to have a baby. And, to put things in context, like I've got a 19-year-old now. I've got a 14-year-old. And to have Harvey was like really crazy. Like, I was 37 years old. I'd had my life with kids. It's not what I wanted. But, I thought if I wanted to stay with Beau, that it would be, he would want to have his own child. And I also knew that I really felt like Beau's the type of person that would put himself on the back burner. If I actually truly said that I didn't want to have a child, he probably would have just accepted that to be his truth. And I didn't want that for him either. He deserved to have his own child. And I didn't think that was right for me to rob that of him either. And so, I had Harvey. Just want to say I fucking love him. Amazing.
Cool.
Love Harvey. But, having Harvey brought up everything. So I had to give up my offshore career, everything I knew, my financial security. So you can imagine that my past alarm bells of like, you can't fucking, rely on a man.
You wanted to travel a bit as well.
I wanted to travel. I want to do all these things, and so yeah, so I had to give all that up to have Harvey. So when I had Harvey,
because we were actually simultaneously both FIFO for a while. We actually even sometimes were missing each other.
Yeah,
we didn't line up, so that was like really hard. And then I started doing more of like a swing around you because I had a really good boss.
Yeah,
and then
flexible. Yeah,
and then I would have your kids while you were away, and yeah, it was really good. But then We should probably go into the COVID swing, eh? It's really important.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right. So COVID swing happened, and it was a time of life where obviously COVID, and I was like I'm going to lose my job. Yeah, and I was like, yes, I'm going to lose my job. Yeah, I'm so fucking excited to lose my job. I wanted to lose my job. I was like, the whole world's going to go into debt. I can go into debt with the world. Like, it's okay. We're all going to be fucked up together. And I was so okay for that. Also, I literally wanted to coach my own kids. I was like, yes, my kids through COVID did business plans. They did business strategy. They had to listen to The Secret. They had to read all these books. Like, I didn't get them to any of the curriculum, the normal shit. Like, I was like, these guys had to come to me with a podcast, with a business plan. Like, I was excited for this, and I was like, I'm going to do online fitness. Like, this is amazing. But no, unfortunately for me, like, it was like, hey, we're going to take you from your cozy 2-to-2 roster, and you're going to go out for 6 weeks.
It was originally 12.
It was originally going to be 14.
Oh,
then it was on, as soon as I hit the news that it was like Woodside was the suicide swing, they obviously cancelled that. It was too much bad media.
I think your rig did most of the Australia's natural gas, right?
Yeah, so we couldn't get COVID on there.
If they got COVID, they'd have to shut it down.
Yeah, and then the world would go under. So yeah, I was essential services, love it.
Essential.
Yeah, essential, love it. So yeah, I went out to work, and it was literally like the best thing of my life. That one there, they looked after us. They were fucking phenomenal. The first one.
The food.
Oh, the food was amazing. We got everything was amazing. I came back looking banging. I was hot as fuck. Like I trained like a motherfucker. Like, it was like, I've always been a person, like, I go to work, I train really hard, that was my focus point, my mental health, everything was around my, I'd go to work to get better, to come home better to my family. That was my motto.
Yeah.
So the first swing was awesome, absolutely awesome. Then we had to do another swing. And we only had...
And that was only 2 weeks off?
We only had 2 weeks off. Had to do another swing, and everything from day one went down. Everything from day one went downhill. My son broke his arm like 3 days in.
No, broke his dick.
No, broke his dick. This
ran into a playground
thing.
Or something.
Yeah, he did that. He also broke his nose.
Yeah.
The nanny that I had at the time wasn't rocking up. Like, I'm not sure. Beau was in the mines. Like, I just, all of this stuff.
Well, you were doing these long swings, and then I was going away and coming home, and then working with no pair who wasn't showing up.
Yeah,
It
was just a very hectic time. So long story short, I had a full mental breakdown offshore. And I was doing like, fuck this, I'm resigning, this is it, I'm fucking out of here. So long story short, I end up leaving that session, that swing, which was 6 weeks. And then I came home and I was not in a good place. I was super skinny, which was the only thing that was keeping me alive, my training and my eating and staying disciplined. But mentally, I just put everything on the back burner. Came home. It was my birthday on July 16th.
We had
2020. We had insane sex in the wardrobe.
Great sex, Harvey. If you're listening to this and you're older.
Harvey was conceived this night for sure, 100% in the closet. Like, it's so...
Kids sit down the other end of the house.
Yeah, it's a pivotal fucking moment. We know exactly how this went down. We know exactly when he was conceived. Yeah. Anyway, and I was like, I'm taking some time off work. Yeah. And then 4 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, we had planned to have a child maybe start the next year. I just wanted some time off from the life that I had just done for 10 years, so everything was changing really fast. And if you know me and Beau, our life has always been fast.
Traumas, anything
everything
too
is fast, So fast forward to that. We had Harvey, absolutely love him, beautiful birth, beautiful pregnancy, amazing relationship.
Everything was smooth.
Everything was beautiful. And then I had Harvey and everything came crashing down. And I was crying every day. My PTSD was through the roof. I was depressed. I had anxiety. I was crying. Like, it was horrible. It was a really horrible time. And I felt so guilty that I had absolutely everything I wanted. I had this beautiful baby. I had a partner that loved me. I never had experienced love like this before. I'd never experienced love in a relationship with children. Like, I had this beautiful home that I owned. I had a beautiful car that we owned. We had money in the bank. My 2 other kids were amazing. I had everything.
I remember asking you, we brought a 100K Mercedes, right? And we drove out and I said, are you happy? And you were driving and you're like, yep. And then
I was dead inside. I was absolutely dead, and I felt so guilty for that. I felt so guilty that I sat there and I
everything
thought,
you always wanted, right?
I sat there and I thought, how dare you? How dare you be upset? How dare you fucking feel this way? You have everything you ever wanted and it's still not good enough. And this is the shit that was playing around in my head. And then, I would later find out that the trauma of, when I was working away, I was just hiding, I was just running, I was just another addiction. My new addiction was keeping busy, and I was so busy that every minute of my life was accountable for.
Number one trauma response or coping mechanism is keeping busy.
Yeah, and that's my number one now. And, I not only worked offshore, I had businesses always, my kids used to be like, would be going grocery shopping. They'd be like, Mum, you can slow down and just fucking walk. And I'm like, no, like every second's accounted for. Like,
it's anxiety, your body's in fight or flight.
Yeah, constantly on urgency and anxiety.
That's what I noticed about ADHD. You sit down to eat, you come on, hurry up and eat, let's get to the move.
Yeah,
you get in the car, let's hurry up and get home. Like everything, you're actually trying to escape the present moment.
100%. So at that time, Beau was doing breathwork. Now, and I thought breathwork was a crock of shit. It wasn't for it whatsoever. He'd come home from this, this event that he'd been at. He came home. He was different. He was talking about this.
Open the door, ecstatic.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yes, my life's been changed. I've taken accountability. Like, I forgave myself." And I was like, "Fucking awesome for you, mate." And I was annoyed at him at the same time because I was so depressed. And I always said that I wanted a guy that would work on himself, and here was this guy that was working on himself. So where the fuck would I fit into this relationship? If my partner actually got good and actually worked on his shit, like, how could I be with a guy that was really doing the work? Because I only knew damage.
You still try and fight that at
times, like,
that
I do find it hard sometimes. I'm really good when it's like, when things are bad, I'm fixing, right? So as a default setting that I'm still working on and trying to work through in my own life. But and then all of a sudden, like, he went into this, and then he was training, getting certified, and he was reading books and YouTubes and doing all these things and going through his courses and everything. And he started training and working with some women. And they were coming into the house, and they were coming in like fucked up, like, absolutely. Yeah, men and women, fucked up. Yeah, exactly. And like crying and all these things. And then we went into the room, and I could hear them having these big emotional releases. And at that time, I couldn't handle it. I could not handle it. I had to go down the other side. I'm like, I've already got enough of my own shit going on.
And you didn't understand it then either.
I didn't understand
so you're like, this is fake, or just like everyone who comes on our socials, they're like,
and this was in my life for like, quite a few months. Like, it was a year before I even tried breathwork. Like, I think
it was close to 12 months of actually me like doing a daily breathwork practice. Up until actually doing breathwork with you.
I just couldn't really see it.
But I remember you being really hurt and triggered, and like I'd go out and you'd be like, what's going on? I think I want to leave this relationship. And I was like, do you? Like, why? I'm like, I love you. And I was such on my high and in my positive, and you were like, had all your shit going on. And then you and
I felt bad for that because you were excited about your life, and I was depressed, and I'm like, and then I was like, I was fighting with you because I'm like, you don't understand me. And you're like, we'll do breathwork. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing breathwork. What the fuck is shit? And he's like, well, that's the reason why I can't understand you. Like, I've got the solution. You don't want the solution? Fuck it.
That's right. And the pivotal moment for me was, I remember you went to the doctor.
Yeah. So I went to the doctor, and and I went there for a completely different reason. And I just had Harvey, and Harvey was like 6 weeks old, something like that, maybe 3 months max. And he said to me, at the moment, are you feeling like this? And I said, yeah. And he goes, and you want to feel like this? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, I'm going to put you on antidepressants. And I was like, okay. And at that time, I was just like, fuck it, I'll do anything, because I was so used to going, cool, give yourself 2 or 3 days, pick yourself up, get over it, and move on. And
you also don't like being the Debbie Downer in the 100%. House. You hate it.
I can't stand it. If
you would rather remove
myself
from the house 100%. And go out so everyone else can be happy, because you don't want your negative energy. And we do. We pass it. You're a product of your environment. So you don't 100%. Want your kids to have a grumpy mum or your partner to have a, so you remove yourself. So
that's 100%. Yeah. So that's what I did. And so then we went on to. Went to get medicated. I brought my pills home, and Beau was, you're working in the mines, and I said, no, fuck it, I'm going to go on this medication, and you turned around to me and said, babe, like, I love you, I'm going to support you no matter what. But I don't believe that this medication is going to help you. You've got real life things going on. You just had a baby.
I want to say that again. You had real life shit going on. Most of my clients that come to me give me all their symptoms, but then I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about why the fuck you feel like this. They've got anxiety. They've had death. They've had trauma.
They've got real life things
grief,
going on.
They've got shit unprocessed. They haven't talked about things. They've got the actual DV going on, or relationship issues, or kids are driving them crazy. They haven't had a holiday in fucking 5 years. I'm like, like, okay, let's look at all this. So, and then implement the tools, right?
100%. So
and you came home and you were like, you know. And
I just wanted to stop. I just wanted to feel better. I didn't want to be poison. I don't want to be the rotten fruit poisoning or the other fruit.
And yourself.
You know, and myself. But you know what, at that time I didn't care enough about myself. I cared about who I was impacting.
And that's the issue. Yeah. When people come to me and to us, the problem is it's had to take them some time to go, all right, I want to work on myself, because you can do everything to all the people around your family, remove yourself from them. You can give them money, you can do this and that. But until you fix yourself, then you directly start helping the people around you, and you've got to want it for yourself.
100%.
And I've always said that, like, you're never going to work on yourself if you're here to be a better mum.
100%.
You need to walk through the fucking door again, because I tell people, get out. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, you're not here to be a better mother. Oh, that's what I want to do. I said, you need to come here and put in the work because you want to be a better you. You won't put in the actual work for yourself and put yourself first and love yourself and fill up your own cup and actually heal
100%.
Because you're too worried about the external. But I'll never forget the time that you sat down on the couch next to me and you said, fuck it, I'll try breath work. And that's the thing, right? Human beings need breaking point for them to go, all right, I'll fucking do something.
It was literally like, I'm going to end my life
or I do breath
work, you know, and it was literally that severe, you know. And again, like I used to sit there and picture myself being dead and on Facebook being like, I had no fucking idea, like what, like how, what, you know, and the thing is, no one would know.
And I felt like I couldn't fix you in any other way.
Yeah.
I felt like I had this tool.
And you know, you and me were having so many arguments, and at that time, you know, but I was like, I want to give up fucking FIFO to do breath work. And I was like, what a crock of shit, you know, fucking doing this, you've got a family to feed. Like, you know, I knew I couldn't rely on you. And so, you know, after all of this, after one pivotal day, like just losing it, fine, I'll do breath work. And so I got into that session with Beau being my partner. I had to really like
the person you're talking to.
Yeah, I had to. I had to switch off that you weren't Beau. You weren't Beau. Like I had to pretend that you were somebody else.
Yeah,
you know. And I went into that session and I laid down and I started breathing. And for the first time in my life, I truly felt the emotion that was in me in a physical sense. Like it was like the feeling was a physical feeling now that was like a whirlwind pin thing in my stomach, whirlpool, swirling around. And then
physical pain,
and then it, like this feeling, this emotion, this energy went up into my hands, and it sat in my hands. And my belief system my whole life has been the pain made me stronger. And I can guarantee you, I fucking put my money on it, that anything bad ever happened to me, I got better, I got hotter, I made more money. It was a number one thing. My revenge in life, and I've always said this, the best revenge in life is ultimate success and happiness. And that is the best revenge. Get better.
If more people knew that,
get
they
better.
Would spend less time
Get better. Stop fucking putting your energy into like bringing someone else down and make them feel your pain.
Bring
Get
yourself
better.
up, right?
Bring yourself up, you know. So
and when you bring yourself up, you stop caring about hurting 100%. Other people. You want them to come up with you.
That's it. So I lived my life like that. So the pain sat in my hands, and I said to myself, it's okay, you can let this go now.
Yep.
And it flung through my fingertips, and I looked up at Beau, and he was sitting there, and I said to him, you can never go back to the mines ever again. The world needs to know this.
And that was like a moment for me where I was
He burst into tears because we're having so many fights.
Well, I was on the phone to you away. We're going to talk about going viral and social media as well, because I was getting so much attention and views online, but my own partner at home wasn't for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know, I need you to jump on this train with me. You know, we can do this amazing work.
That life is not for me, you know.
So, and we did pivot and shift so much through business after that. So it took for me to show you this, and then you were like, yep. The world needs to hear this.
And it was the first time in my life, like I've done everything that I've overcome, everything I've been through. You know, I've done Reiki, kinesiology, talk therapy, millions of hours of talk therapy. I've done every self-development course that ever came out. I went to every inspirational influencer. I've read every book that you can think of. Anything new that came out, I wanted to know more. I wanted to understand. And it was the first time in my life that I truly felt a release and a reset. And so much so That from that moment, I got up. I said, I'm selling the house. I'm selling the car. I don't want it. I stopped getting fake nails. I took off my fake extensions, my eyelashes, and I went I was reborn. I was completely reborn. Crazy. And I just didn't want any of the materialistic shit anymore, you know, and it's crazy. And that's how we got into it. It's how we got into breathwork. It's how I got into breathwork, you know, and I really have to thank my partner for that because it's ultimately changed the shape of my life, the confidence I have now. The confidence I have now, the coach that I am now, the person I am now, it really comes down to Beau and Beau's big belief and being able to jump and do these things, you know.
And we're going to talk exactly about this on our next podcast. We're going to talk about business and how we started Believe a Label and how you did that. Being a mum with me working away 100%. Before the transition of breathwork, and Believe Label gave us the confidence to do Believe in Your Breath, and 100%. How we started doing events, and we started that with 9 people in the kitchen, going to 200 people in Gold Coast. So, but we are going to wrap up this one, and I love you.
I love you,
and I really appreciate you and doing this with you. It's amazing. But for everyone listening, thank you so much. Spill the tea. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also follow us on socials. We've got @Believe in Your Breath. We have I am Beau Drury and I am Kirsty Waddingham on Instagram as well.
Love it.
Big love.
Big love.
Let's go.